BP believes the oil is there, but as Dave Goldman shows us, it's just harder to find.
After more than 4 decades here on the North Slope, BP is still committed to oil exploration and recovery, though it's harder than it used to be. The question is, where is the oil?
Everywhere you look is white, though the dominant color is still green. Welcome to Prudhoe Bay, the largest oil field in North America. BP now operates the entire field and is turning to innovation to continue production.
This seismic project is the first step in that, and I think all of us that work at BP would love to see this oil field last for another 40 years. It's vital to the state, it's vital to all the other oil fields in Alaska being, successfully moving oil down taps.
Jennifer Collins is referring to PBS 40, the largest seismic survey of its kind, a technology dedicated to finding that remaining oil. But locating that oil is as big a task as the space it covers.
Total project area is 450 square miles. We've started on the west side back in January, started working our way across. We're over here, obviously, to today, and we'll be finished sometime in mid-April.
But why invest in a 40-year-old field? BP says Prudhoe Bay is still a contender. In 2017, it produced more than 280,000 barrels of oil a day, accounting for more than half the state's total production. And from 2015 to 17, it held consistent levels uncommon for an older field. An old field that could soon find new life.
This is a recording device. It's recording data.
Based in Houston, seismic acquisition specialist Robert Poole is a frequent guest here.
Terabytes of data in the data terms, but it's a cube of data that's from the surface to probably 5 miles down.
Above ground, they're making waves.
So this machine behind us is a vibrator. That's about a 90,000 pound vehicle on tracks, so he doesn't do any damage on the tundra. It all stays on the snow.
Scott Digert looks after field development.
In the center of this machine is a big pad, and that pad presses down with hydraulics and basically puts the weight of that vibrator onto a pad, and then it shakes, it vibrates.
As they send in the sounds, driver Robert Byerly is looking for good vibrations.
That's the source of what we use then to record the sound waves coming back up on the geophones.
It records 24 hours a day, but the vibes sweep at a start time that started when that vibe driver pushes the button. We've got about 16,000 of these on the project, and we have about 130,000 total source locations that we'll occupy over the whole project.
So the end point of all this then would be targets that we can actually drill to try and recover any oil that's being left behind at Prudhoe Bay.
It starts here.
Yes, we're in the doghouse.
Ground control for the Vibe trucks.
It's just always been called the doghouse. I don't know why.
As Patricio, a senior observer, directs traffic.
He has a screen for each vibrator. Each vibrator has a number. He probably knows them so well that he recognizes their voice when they call in. He knows which screen that guy's on.
But challenges lurk as the company watches for wildlife and tundra.
We have to receive federal authorizations to work in polar bear country, and one of those mitigations from that authorization from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is conducting surveys to identify and avoid known polar bear dens.
Simplifying the inexact science.
And we're looking for fault traps that have not been drilled yet. And they'll create that cube, they'll plot every wellbore, and they'll look for compartments that haven't been produced. And then Scott will go drill them.
As BP aims to keep the field going for 40 more years in this desert on the ice. Reporting for Frontiers, I'm Dave Goldman.